Hi, I'm here today with Dawn from Rose Cottage Doggy Daycare, part of Dogland Ltd. And thank you for joining us today, Dawn.
You're welcome.
Happy
to be here.
Oh, I'm glad. So we're just going to have a little chat and find out a little bit more about Dawn and how she is doing what she's doing and where she's going in her business. Some very exciting things. So tell us, Dawn, how did you start doing what you're doing? And tell us a little bit about exactly what it is that you do and what you offer in your business.
Okay, so obviously I know you on a personal level as well, so yeah. I've known you many years. But when I was 13, I volunteered in a boarding kennels, just picking the poop up. You've got to start somewhere.
Passion through from there.
Yeah, you've got to start somewhere. Start at the bottom of the ladder. And basically I worked in kennels for many years, different kennels around the UK. The last one being in Leicester. But I didn't agree with how the traditional boarding kennels were being run.
Oh, okay.
In the respect that the dogs weren't getting any freedom, they weren't allowed to socialise. They were pretty much sat in kennels all day howling and barking. So I decided to leave Leicester and move back to Sheffield, which is obviously where I'm from, and start dog walking. Again, start at the bottom and work my way up. And now I run a luxury boarding kennels and a doggy daycare centre based on the ethos that the dogs have the freedom and we take the board out of boarding.
Wow, I do remember you doing the dog walking and you were really busy with that, weren't you?
Yeah, very much so. I mean, I could have carried on just doing the dog walking, but the goal has always been to revolutionise the way traditional kennels are run.
Wow.
And educate people on how to socialise and mix dogs. And hopefully build a business model that I can then franchise out and roll out across the UK. And let other people do what I do and enjoy what they do instead of going to work and doing a job that you don't like or you detest. I can absolutely say that my job is not a job, it's a lifestyle, and I absolutely love what I do.
That is quite priceless, isn't it? Because not a lot of people, I don't think, can say I just love doing what I do.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
To be able to say that is quite...
And it's satisfying.
That's
very
good.
Satisfying.
So that all sounds so exciting. I think you have even answered a question that's going to come later, but we'll talk more about that. But so it can't have all been that easy. Tell us about an obstacle or something that you faced, and then maybe even how you've overcome it.
Yeah. Well, like many small business owners, the biggest obstacle for me in the beginning, in the early days, was cash flow.
Yes, always a biggie, that one.
Yeah, it is, and it's like very hard to come over, to get over. And when I moved up from Leicester, I was a single mum, didn't have much savings, and I ended up I needed a van for my business to be able to collect the dogs, to be able to walk them. So I ended up spending my last £500 on an old banger of a van, which I love that little van. And to make it different and stand out, I painted the bonnet pink. So me and my daughter actually painted the bonnet pink.
Do you know, I never actually knew that you painted it yourself. I did see the van, obviously, but I didn't realise that you'd painted it, like you and your daughter.
So we got it pink, and
you got it known.
got it out there, yeah. Yeah, literally got it out there, and people recognised the van for the pink bonnet, which is exactly what I wanted it to do. It were low cost but high value to me as a small business owner, because it got me noticed and it got me my name out there. And then it snowballed with the walking, and I think my passion and my drive and my whole ethos really shone through in the early days, and that helped me build that cash flow up. But from being a single mum and the pressure of having your own business, and I didn't want to just go back to doing an ordinary job that I didn't really want to do. My passion was with dogs, so I wanted to continue that. But you can't help but worry about the money situation and how you're going to feed your daughter and put a roof over her head. So in the early days, cash flow was a major thing for me. So luckily I'm over that now. Her business is really good, but I'll never forget them days. Yeah, and I'll always be humble.
So would you say that obviously getting this van was the start of you overcoming that obstacle of cash flow?
Yeah, it was a gamble. It was a massive gamble whether I spent that £500 on that van or whether I saved that to pay for other necessities in life, and I just had to take that gamble, and luckily for me it paid off.
I think in business you do have to just take those gambles sometimes, don't you? And
yeah, definitely, and go with your gut feeling.
Yeah, I was just going to say that sometimes it's just something that is just driving you to do it, and it's obviously worked. For those who don't know or haven't seen Dawn's amazing premises, it has grown from this, well, you tell us actually, what has it grown from this little van, driving around a village, picking up your dogs, doing your dog walking. Where are you now?
Wow.
She'll play it down, but it is incredible.
Well, from dog walking in my pink van on your local parks, I then moved into Rose Cottage, which is set in 5.5 acres of secure grass paddocks. And my partner John gave me a golden opportunity to say, right, I know what your passion is. I believe you. I can see it I can see the spark. Just get on with it. So I did. Like a whirlwind, like a Tasmanian devil. I come up with all these ideas, crazy, outrageous ideas. Agility paddocks, a chill out barn, a TV room. I'm just on with an outdoor splash zone for dogs.
Wow.
So I've just took it to another level. But all because the passion of the dogs being able to be free and playing and doing what they should be doing, not sat in a kennel.
I suppose when you see those dogs and they're all, I mean, when I've come to yours, the dogs are just, I don't mean roaming as in like there so that I could touch them, but they're behind fencing, but they are bouncing around, they're always so happy, and it is actually, it's really nice to see, so it must be nice for you to see.
It is, and it is hard work to mix and match the dogs and know which breeds you can put with what other breeds, and the staff training I've had to do has been intense, but it really works. And a lot of boarding kennels don't do it because all they want is the money to just sit the dog in a kennel, which is a lot easier than mixing and matching and socialising and interacting with the dog. But for physically, mentally, emotionally, that dog is much more stimulated than it would be just to be sat in a kennel howling and barking.
Wow. So it is very, very exciting. So you've just mentioned staff. So I was going to say to you, so do you have staff? You've got a team of people. Tell us a little bit about your staff and your team and how that works.
Yeah, well, so it was just me, myself and I back in the beginning, and my little girl walking dogs. And then when we moved to Rose Cottage, my first team member was the lovely Lewis, who knows everything about a computer. He's like the Mac king. Yeah, totally. Because I'll hold my hands up. I know nothing about computers. Don't want to know anything about computers if I'm truly honest. I deal with dogs.
Field, aren't they?
Yeah, definitely. All technology changes so fast, and I got way behind with it. But I'm getting there. I'm catching up slowly. But Lewis was my first team member, and to him I owe absolutely everything because he's been there from day one and helped me put the bricks in place to build this foundation for this house that I'm hopefully going to duplicate. That's how I'm going to say it as an example. But yeah, so Lewis was the first team member, and then along came Charlotte and Beth, and slowly our team has grown, and we have had some staff leave due to personal issues. So the training had to start again for somebody else, which is, if anybody's got staff, they'll know that it can be very, very stressful. But working on your team, making sure your team are pulling together, making sure they all know the rules of the game, ensuring they all feel valued, and what's expected of them and what's not expected of them is crucial in getting that team together, because that team is what drives your business forward. 100%, because I can't take on the dog world on my own. So to have a good team behind me has been worth its weight in gold. So we've got 10 staff now.
Wow, 10 staff, gosh. So when you talk about training, so do you have policies and systems and stuff in place to help you, I suppose, make sure everyone's trained the same way? Or what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. And everybody's got to think like I think, because for any business, the business owner has always got the passion, the drive. They'll get up on a bad day and they'll carry on because it's their baby. So I've really put a lot of time and effort into policies and procedures of how exactly I do every single job on that yard. So even from emptying the poo bins,
priority. You don't want everyone coming and having poo.
Oh, we have a lot to deal with. to taking an invoice, or even to the minute customer details, which is like taking a phone call and the script that we use for that phone call. Again, so that everybody's on the same page, we all know what's expected, and it just reinforces that brand and that professional outlook, which is what we ultimately want to achieve.
Yeah. So how have you found creating these systems? Because obviously I've got a business and I can totally appreciate these are quite time consuming, aren't they? So how have you found that whole process of putting that together? And because as a business owner, you do have to take a lot of time out of the business. You're trying to, your passion's there, but to build it, you've got to.
Yeah, of course. And it's knowing how to do it as well. There's nobody guided me on how to do policies and procedures. I literally got a notebook, scribbled down every single job that was on that yard that I did, and then I got Lewis to put that into some sort of manual that I can then roll out to the other staff, and I'm now working on videos of how to do the job, so that the visual people that learn visually can watch the video to understand how to do the job as well, not just reading it.
It's a big job,
it's a massive job, and it's so time consuming. And as business owners, we've got a million jobs to do. We wear 300 hats, and we've got to be an accountant, and marketeer, this, that, and other. So to take time out to put them policies and procedures in place is massive. But I tell you something, once you've nailed it and you've got every single job written down in detail how you want it to be done, and all your teams on board, you can then start to step away from that business and run it instead of being in it. And that is what has been, that is what
every business owner's goal, I think, isn't it?
And it's been massive for me. It's really, really, really helped me to be able to step away and learn on how to run a business rather than being it, because it's all been wrote down step by step, so they all know what job to do at what time, and it's massive. It is massive. But if you can get guidance or help on that, then do so, because it is a massive subject.
Yeah, it is a bit of a minefield, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It's knowing where to start, and although business is business, when every business is different, it's hard to take, you can take stuff that you've learned, I've learned from you or whatever, or you've learned from me, those you can take an element of it, but then it's nothing quite like your business in your industry.
That's
and it's
right.
been a bit more industry specific, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. You've got to adapt it to your industry, and then really nail down and really drill down on what you want out of it. And that's what I've done, and it's massively helped.
So what advice would you give to someone who was at the minute, say, struggling with staff, getting because they haven't got systems or in place? What would you say to get started? Would you say to seek advice or to just make a start? What would you say is the best way just to make a start? Because sometimes it's the hardest bit, isn't it, just getting started with it?
I think everybody needs a guru. Everybody needs some sort of either accountability buddy or somebody they can look to for inspiration. So find that person that's doing what you're doing or doing something similar, and then really chat to them and like we do, and have odd coffee and a brainstorming session every now and again.
It's so important, isn't it? I do think
it is, because you obviously know things, and then I pick up off your things, and obviously I give you hopefully some knowledge, and between you can bounce. It's not being a business owner, you can't just have the blinkers on and think it's my business, I know how to run it. Always, you don't have to take everybody's advice, but think outside the box a bit, because that one person might just hold you the golden nugget of information that's going to take your business to the next level. So you never stop learning, you're never too old to learn. So that's where I would start first off, and then I would do the basics via a pen and paper. I'm not a computer kind of girl. If you are, then crack on and do it straight onto a computer, but I'm not. So I would just get a bog standard notebook, and I would write down every single job that you do and how you want it doing, step by step. So it's an idiot's guide that anybody could follow to run your business. And then once you've done that, you've nailed it.
Definitely. That is really good advice, and I do get a lot out of our coffees that we have and odd chats, because even though we are in totally different industries, when it comes to managing staff or when it comes to procedures, there's, you know, elements that you're like, have you got
Similarities.
this, have you got that?
Yeah.
So it is good to brainstorm. So I do completely
definitely.
agree with that.
Definitely.
So it's good to try and find someone in your industry who you can brainstorm with, but sometimes it's just having somebody who's in business, because there's nothing like a business mind when you're not in business and you've got
I think
a job.
we're a different breed.
Absolutely, I think everybody would agree with that. When you've got a job, you know, there's something about having that monthly wage coming in that is totally different when you're a business owner. You haven't really got that. We're all successful, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that we're not, but at the same time it's different, it's difficult, and
we're
in
a
the
bit
beginning
more hungry for it.
Yeah, you've got to be, haven't you?
Yeah,
so,
because it's our passion.
Absolutely. So tell us, Dawn, something interesting about yourself that people might not know about you.
Well, I quite like modern jive dancing.
Maybe we should do another video now, a little demonstration.
Yeah.
I'll get the music on.
I have to do a jive.
Like it.
Yeah, not a lot of people know that I do modern jive. Some of my close friends don't even know that I do modern jive.
They do now.
They do now. But yeah, that's a little interesting.
Oh, I like it. So do you do that, because obviously it's very, very important when you do run a business, you need that downtime and that time out. Would you say that that's your escape from work, where you can, I don't know about you, but if I do something that I'm not familiar with, then to do something that I completely have to learn from scratch, it's one of the very few things that will take me away from thinking about business.
Yeah.
So
exactly
is that your escape?
Exactly that. And me and my partner run his own business, and when you do run your own businesses, finding time to spend together is precious.
Yeah.
Because if not, the relationship will break down, and you can go down a road that you really don't want to go down, which I've done before. My business has always took over, and a lesson learned in my last relationship, I literally put my head down and would not stop, because I'm that sort of lady.
A business owner for you,
and my relationship broke down because of it. And then this time round, I've set preservation goals, which I will not break. We've got time in our default diary together, and part of that time is dancing, where you totally turn off from dogs and business, and he turns off from his business, and you've literally got to concentrate on not stepping on each other's toes.
Well, it's just life for you, don't step on each other's toes.
Yeah, and listening to the music, and it's energetic, it gets you exercise, revved up, you come out of there feeling like you've just done a gym session, you're absolutely leathered and wet through, but you have a laugh as well. And the people that we meet, no disrespect, but they are an older generation, but we sort of fit in, and I mean,
it's nice.
We're in his 30s, and most of the people in there are 40 or above, but it's nice to again be with a different group of people and appreciate that time together.
Yeah, no, I think it is. It's very, very important. So, not being negative, but is there something that you would say that you're not very good at, that you'd like to be better at, or just something that you just accept, that you just, well, you've already said computer, so you can't pick that one, but just something that you might not feel that you are as good at as maybe dogs or business?
Yeah. I think the next biggest hurdle for me would be managing my time.
Okay.
Because I've put that much effort into learning all my staff, every job on the yard, that now I've given myself the freedom to be able to step back a little bit to run on the business. And with outside business coaching and things that I'm learning, because you never stop learning, I've got a bit of brain fog.
Do you feel like you've got this time on your hands and it's so foreign that you're not really used to it, so you now don't know what to do with it?
Exactly, and I don't know how to utilise it to get the best out of my time. So for me, it's a case of getting it all down on paper, because I'm a pen and paper kind of girl, and write down what I need to do and in what order and by what time. But saying and doing that is two totally different things, and that's where I'm really struggling at the minute.
I can relate to that, because I did find that a little bit difficult when I started taking time out. But I think a little bit of me, because I was telling my staff I was doing this and this and this, and I needed time out to do this. Not that I had to explain to them, but for whatever reason, I found myself
guilty.
Yeah, we all go for that guiltiness.
Yeah.
So then I thought, well, I want to do these things because then everyone will know that I really am doing these things, and then it's where to start. So you're sort of like, well, what do I do? But then I think just doing that one thing, that one job that's been hanging over you, but it's easy to say. So maybe you do need that brain dump on paper, get it all out, and then pick something off that list.
Prioritise your tasks, definitely, 100%. Because we all, as business owners, we've all got a million and one things to do. But to get it down on paper and to know which order you're going to do it in and which order the results are going to come in because of it. Obviously, we're ultimately in business to make money.
Of course.
You've got to weigh up whether the time spent on a task is going to reap the benefits money-wise. So making that correlation is what I'm finding hard. Because I see all the tasks that I've got as being priority. But working out which one's going to bring me the most reward the fastest is what's really throwing me. So that's
So that's a difficult one that I can tell. It's like that's another subject, that isn't it?
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, definitely. But it's good though to get it out there, because at least now hopefully you'll be thinking, right, okay, that is a negative, not a negative, but that is something that I need to work on.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So hopefully that so what's the future plans for Rose Cottage Doggy Daycare, Dogland Ltd? What's the plan?
Well, the plan is...
Can you share?
I'm very excited to share, because the goal is getting nearer and nearer.
Oh gosh.
So my ethos of the dogs having the freedom, I want to roll that out across the UK. So basically, I'm at the moment I'm putting all the brickwork in, foundations in, to be able to build this model, so that then I can franchise that out, so that I can give all the knowledge, the expertise, the policies, the procedures under the umbrella of Dogland to somebody else, for them to be able to run another boarding kennels and luxury and daycare centre under our umbrella. So they'll always have our overall help and advice, but for them to be able to take on that passion and that drive and do what they want to do and love it like I love it, and hopefully get a team like I've got a team, and I'm not saying become McDonald's and be as big as McDonald's, but keep it niche, keep it I don't want to be a corporate company that's massive and loses that personal touch, because when you're dealing with people's animals, they're like the children,
and it is personal, isn't it?
It is personal, very personal, and your team's got to understand that, and treat every dog as if it's your own, which is what we do. Let us love your dog as you do. That's our strapline, and we live and breathe by that. And if I can duplicate that all way in the UK, then for me, revolutionising how kennels are run and how daycare centres are run, I've cracked it.
That is exciting. Cannot wait. Gosh, here's to the future.
Yeah,
see what happens.
Definitely.
Ooh. So what's one piece of advice that you might leave us on that you would give to either a budding business owner or somebody who's wanting to go into business, thinking about it? What's a little bit of nugget, or what, you know what I mean, that you would leave on? That's the one.
I think, I'll go back to it, I've learned a hell of a lot over the last 6 months, and I don't think you're too old to start learning. So don't think you know it all. Don't think it's your business and nobody else can tell you how to run your business. Just open your mindset a little bit and think outside the box, and take on people's advice and their perspective of it. I'm not saying totally go by what they say, but take it on board and adapt it to how you want your business to be run, because there's so much to learn. We never stop learning. I'm 35 and I'm just starting to learn how to run a business and create a marketing strategy and social media strategy. I didn't even know what strategy was.
You hear all these things, don't you? Think, what?
I couldn't even turn a laptop on. Never mind create a video. Plan, edit and shoot a video. So you're never ever too old to start learning. So that would be my piece of advice. If you're serious about taking your business to the next level, learn and learn more.
Fantastic. So thank you so much for joining us today, Dawn. It's been so nice to have you on the podcast. And I think we can all take a lot away from that. A lot to do with business. So if you are in business of any kind, I'm sure you can leave some comments. I'm sure Dawn would be happy to give you any advice. It's not just about dogs, it's about just business in general. But good luck for the future, and we cannot wait to see Rose Cottage Doggy Daycare franchised.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.